So last night I was looking online because just the way we've been treated here has just been like over the top cartoon criminal fucking crazy bullshit by a bunch of like really ultra rich people. And like the fact that there's about 60, 70 like Beamers and Volvos and just like these high end luxury vehicles constantly parked in the parking lot all the time, uh, in this domestic violence program shelter combo. And like, we have gotten fucked out of literally everything, including yesterday, our doctor's appointments. These people call and cancel my rides. They do all kinds of really crazy fuck shit. And I mean, from the cyber stalking and bullying to like literally in person bullying. Because one day I was walking out to, and there's video evidence of it because I recorded that day that it happened on here. Um, it was about, I heard about 6 or 7 different voices. Some of them were clients, which would be what they call us, which we are the victims, right? So the fact that they call us clients should tell you something because it's not like we paid to be here, but we do. I mean, because they bully and harass until we pay them. I haven't been able to because they've blocked literally every avenue for me to make money or apply for any benefits. In fact, they've withheld mail with some pretty important documents that I'm going to need in order to file for any of these benefits. But some of these benefits have been applied for on my behalf, uh, but I haven't done it because every avenue I've tried to, like, I had 4 separate phone interviews, all of them blocked. I walked 2 miles to the social services office. I overhear somebody talking about how they're being paid to be there, and then I overhear a voice on uh, this person's phone who happens to be the donations coordinator. And she's asking about me and she's telling this girl how to file my paperwork. Uh, so, um, so all this stuff has been happening to me. And in fact, there were about a handful of clients and staff. And I heard all their individual voices. One was the program director, one was my case manager, one was one of the clients, one was my former case manager, all making fun of my social media and laughing about what is she going to do next? Start a podcast? So we're leaving here homeless, right? Because everything I have tried to do has been blocked. Every single thing. So I started doing a little research because I just can't figure out how is it all connected like this because it has to be. Well, it turns out that they are in fact, because everything they have to do, everything they do, they have to brag about it. They brag about it on LinkedIn. They brag about it on their website, which they have a full social media crew. Um, which the same guy that was driving the coffee truck looks like the same guy that you were talking to outside here one morning when you were talking about your team of lawyers, excuse me, and your social media team. And I overheard him talking about how he was gonna really help you guys. But he looks like the same guy that's driving the coffee truck intimidating me. So there's been a lot of real severe like bullying and intimidation, including yesterday when because when certain things happen, the fire alarm goes off. For a good few months, every time I would sing, the fire alarm went off. In fact, I've got some video evidence of that as well. But yesterday we had a doctor's appointment that I've had to reschedule 3 times. I keep having to reschedule things because they'll call and cancel my rides. And the donations coordinator I heard outside one day laughing and joking with people about me missing my ride when I in fact did the day before because it had been called and canceled 3 separate times. I was actually at the doctor's office when this happened, and I kept having to call and trying to get it fixed. And that same day, I told them over the phone because it's the mode of care for the Medicaid. I told them everything that was happening, and then I was being bullied by the staff. And then immediately after I said that, I got an email saying that they wanted to have a meeting with me. And I said, "Wow, that's a really strange timing for that email, and then never heard about it again. But this has been going on the entire time I've been here. From day one, it was like they were trying to set me up for some reason because my kid found a little baggie of white powder in the kitchen in the last place. And then I brought it to everybody's attention, and it was like they were trying to blame it on me because my kid found it. Well, first of all, my kid found a baggie of white fucking powder in your establishment. Why is that? My child found it. Honey, I really don't think you all have any idea what the fuck you've started. All right, so now yesterday, because I'm just fed up and we're leaving here homeless today after 3 o'clock. We aren't allowed to use the van for anything other than for applying for things that will make us money. That's it. Like, because one time I needed to go to the urgent care and it wasn't going to be available. But it is if we need to go file for jobs or documentation in order to make money to pay these people. So, oh God, where did I even begin? So much, so much. But yesterday I was doing a little research online because the origins of this place are fascinating. Anyway, did you know it was started because two women were murdered by their abuser, and yet you have all of these women with no transportation walking up and down the sides of the roads, and you are very, very adamant about not helping us at all, especially with transportation. But I did find out you've helped two people obtain vehicles. Neither one of those people had a physical disability preventing them from being able to walk the roads like this. But they do, in fact, have jobs. And I found out yesterday the reason we weren't offered the housing specialist is because I don't have a job. So I wasn't going to be able to pay for housing anyway. Oh, yeah? So is that why you've blocked all of my applications? Because I don't have a job, so what's the fucking point anyway? See, I was on a housing list, but after after we'd been starving for a while, and my kid found out about only being here for 12 months as opposed to the 24 months we were initially promised, and what we signed uh, the uh, the agreement for was 24 months, and we were rushed over here, so it was like you don't know what you're signing. We got to hurry. We got to get you out. Turn them and burn them. Turn them and burn them. It's like a restaurant, but with domestic violence victims. I'm dead fucking serious. I am not even exaggerating about any of this. And if you actually talk to any of us as opposed to any of the staff, you would hear the truth about what's actually going on and not whatever they're going to talk about on this fucking podcast. But I wouldn't sign a paper because they wouldn't tell me what it was. And they got angry about it and apparently had me kicked off of the housing list because I questioned their authority. So now we're leaving here homeless. And I'm just pissed. I'm pissed about it. So I started doing a little research. And wow, not only do they like to brag in person because, their egos are so huge, but they also like to brag online. And what they don't realize, because they think that we're so fucking stupid, they think they look down on all of us because why, you know, first of all, we're stupid enough to get involved in any kind of relationship that would, but we're also stupid enough to believe that they actually care about us and that they're not just strictly here to make money off of our pain, which is exactly what they're doing. And they're all driving brand new Beamers and Volvos and Audis and Porsches and Teslas while we're fucking struggling to eat, to keep our children, to keep rent paid, and dealing with all the trauma that we endured in order to get here. So there's that. And if you take a bunch of really traumatized people with uh, activated nervous systems that have been in constant fight or flight for a long, long, long time, and you manipulate them, and you use coercive control, which is illegal in New Jersey in cases of domestic violence. So the fact that you're using it against victims of domestic violence in order to make money has got to be illegal too, right? But the thing is, on their website, they advertise that they are, in fact, in cohorts with social services, the justice program here, the police department, all of the all of the outlets in order for you to get any kind of benefits or help from the government in the case that you are being abused by your domestic partner, or in my case, which they didn't want me to even be here in the first place and don't think I'm worthy or deserving, it was my parents. It took over a month to get 211 to even, I'm sorry, the homeless hotline, to even consider me as a domestic violence victim, because it was my parents and not an intimate partnership. So that also counts against me. And that's another reason why I'm isolated, because they don't think I really deserve to be here, even though it's your parents that start you out on this track to keep constantly getting involved in relationships that are abusive. Wouldn't that be correct? But they have used everything I've talked about in therapy against me and against my child. They've used things that I've talked about on here where we all act like this isn't happening, but you're stealing my fucking intellectual property and now you're going to start a podcast? Oh, well, so am I, baby. So am I. But I'm going to have your victims on. And we're going to have all the people that have been fucked by you guys on my podcast. But anyway, I got to looking and I found their budget. I found everyone's salaries. I found every single name that's involved with this organization that is benefiting off of our pain. And the fact that I was correct. You are in the pockets of all the organizations in the area, all the resources that we would need to reach out to in order to get help to become stable enough to get away from our abusers. And the fact that you've used all of those to block me from being able to get help, housing, benefits, in order to take care of my child, and then you turn around and call CPS, which is also in your fucking pocket, it turns out, because Child Protective Services is on that list too. And you've called them and are trying to make it look like I'm the one who's negligent. So you're causing us to be homeless. You're preventing me from being able to feed that child, take care of that child. You're blocking every application for any kind of job. So I can't provide for that child. And then you're going to call CPS, who's also in your pocket, and you advertise that on your website. All of these organizations you have by the cojones and probably the pockets, and you're going to try to use things that I've told you in confidence in therapy, prevent me from being able to provide for that child, and then try to take that child away from me. Well, if you're doing this to me, and there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 other families that I know of that are leaving here homeless while you are paying somebody on staff to help people find homes, but only if they have a job. But you've also kept my mail from me so that I don't have all the documentation to provide to apply for disability, because I have a physically disabling condition, and so does my child, mind you. So you've blocked every outlet for me to make money, for me to be able to feed that child, and then you use one of these organizations that's in your pocket. You call them every time I piss you off, by the way, because there's a pattern with everyone's behavior too. And every time I talk about this, they call. They set the fire alarm off so all the police and everybody's here, or they call CPS. And I'm not dealing with them either without a lawyer. I'm not dealing with any of y'all ever again without a lawyer. But now You're gonna start a podcast after you made fucking fun of me out in the hallway? When I've begged you from the beginning to help me with all of this so that I could provide for that child without having to wreck my physical body. And now you're stealing my intellectual property after cyber stalking me, bullying and intimidation, mail fraud. I'm pretty sure that what I overheard at social services would indicate that you've also stolen my identity and filed for documentation and things in my name without my permission. And now we're leaving here homeless. After I've seen your salaries and your budget. And I've watched you throw away thousands of dollars worth of donated food. And you're spiting me with the septic tank. I the nerve, the nerve. Not another one of you better drive past me in an Audi and wave at me like that. Because remember that time you said, what do you want us to do? Buy you a car? Well, considering that you bought two other people a car, yeah, you're going to be doing more than buying me a car. And you're going to make it right for not just me, but every other family you fucked. And you're going to talk about all this on your podcast. Because I just wouldn't make it live. I wouldn't make it a live thing where people can call in. That's all. Defamation of character, because you also slandered me all over town to prevent me from being able to reach out for help. I've got more, but I'm not. I'm gonna save some of those. Also, just remember, you cannot shred everything. And I do have some surprises up my sleeve, but no, none of this is okay. Not a fucking bit of this is okay. And then you wanna act like me asking for an extra roll of tape is a big deal, or pads. After I reached out to another organization that you have in your pocket to try to get help getting fucking menstrual pads, and you blocked that, while you've got a whole room in the other house over there filled with them. And because I asked for pads, what did you set out? You set out tampons. Because you're so fucking spiteful. I don't think you should be as spiteful as you are. I don't think it's such a good idea anymore. Not considering that your egos are so huge that you have to brag about all your conquests online. Because again, it's all right there. And you underestimated me because I went to school for journalism. And my ex-old man was a compulsive liar. So he used to call me human CSI. And I will find out. It might not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But I will find out eventually. And I just did. And I am also going to find every other woman who has been screwed, every other family that has been screwed by your organization, who's left here homeless, who's left here without all their proper documentation, without insurance, without my God, there's so many things. Because I've heard so many stories. That's why you try to isolate us and keep us from talking to each other. That was probably a good idea on your part, because we did talk to each other. We have been. But this takes the cake. The fucking podcast absolutely takes the cake. You guys are the biggest hypocrites I've ever met in my life. And I've been doing some research on some other cases that are just disability discrimination alone. That's not even considering all the other things that you've done to me. That doesn't even touch the surface of some of the things you've done to me. And some of the settlements are, you better make this right. But I know you won't. Because you guys are so incredibly spiteful. And that's what's going to bring you down. Because I never was until now. You did teach me something here. So, there's that. I am going to make this very difficult. The way you've made this year and a half very, very difficult for us. So, was this what you anticipated? I don't think so. And P.S. The fact that in the year of our Lord 2024, you're still using the word battered to describe victims of domestic violence should say something about all of your characters anyway. Oh, also, I asked for help going to school because I thought maybe going to school would be, beneficial. And they told me, in a quote, "You can't make money doing that. That's out of the question." But they've paid for two other women to go to school since I've been here. In fact, one of them was like, "Why don't you ask them to help you go to school? They pay to help people go to school. Just not me. Just not me." So there we go. Discrimination once again.